own a little and love it a lot. TheStable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. TheStable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at TheStable.ca.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Fasig-Tipton in Lexington, Kentucky, as the Lexington Selected Yearling Sale for 2025 rolls on. Day number 3 is coming up, the session to begin at 1 p.m., and we are back with you here at TheStable.ca. Mark McKelvey, Anthony McDonald, everybody on time, ready to go this morning.
I thought today would be a rubber match. Today was the tiebreaker to see which one of us would be late, and we were both plenty early.
We were both on time.
I was actually up early today. I thought, it's been such an exhausting time. You need to take a minute and just take a minute and soak it all in.
Yep.
The weather's been incredible. It feels like we went to a sale in Jamaica. It's been beautiful
hot.
here. Beautiful here all week. I thought this morning I would be exhausted, and I knew I had to get up. I got a lot of work to do, obviously, not just looking at horses, but talking to clients, right? You can only imagine we have dozens and dozens and dozens of emails that are going to come in throughout the morning, people wanting to get involved with some of the horses we purchase, which is always an important thing. But I want to make sure I get a chance to respond to everybody and make our videos and look at horses. So I was surprised. Bounced right up at 7. Did you bounce?
I was up at 8 a.m., ready to roll.
Wow.
That was actually sleeping in for me. I'm normally up like 5:30.
You probably just get up, do some push-ups and
Actually, I did. Yeah, as you can tell. I did not go out last night after dinner. We had a wonderful dinner, but then...
do we have any video footage of you actually going to bed at a reasonable time?
I did go to bed at a reasonable time last night.
Okay.
There's
All
people
right.
behind the camera that will vouch for me.
All right.
You know why? I might have stayed out a little too late Monday, so I said Tuesday I got to get a good sleep.
Really? I didn't notice. You were out a little bit late.
Well,
on
the sale
Monday.
was at night,
It was.
so when it ends,
You had to put the appropriate amount of party time in regardless of the time the sale closed. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that exactly, but that's what you're saying. Anyways, 2 days down, 3 to go in the sale. I just had to do that quick math. So let's talk yesterday. What did you make of things? First of all, not just from a personal standpoint, but I think we should probably summarize. The sale is actually down a little bit. That being said, we were just talking with one of the auctioneers, and he pointed out the last 2 years were so strong that is this really any sort of cause for concern because it is down a bit this year? I don't know. It's hard to say.
Well, I can tell you what, I don't think there's a whole lot of people, clicking their heels, walking around thinking they stole horses. I think there was some horses that maybe went around fair market. There was a lot of horses that went for a lot more yesterday. I mean, I'm always trying to figure out, and it's impossible. It's like trying to count the waves in the ocean, right? You don't know where these little crevices in the sale are going to be, or even why. There's no analytics that could predict when a sale was going to dip a little bit. And what happens is I'm left saying, well, how do we find a horse that we believe will go for less than what we believe it's going to go for less than fair market value? And it's very hard to do. And I think we did it a couple of times yesterday. But that all remains to be seen. It's all semantics. Nothing matters until next July or June. So, whatever everybody does today, as long as they leave, or yesterday or the day before, as long as they leave happy, I guess that's all that matters. But, I don't know if the sale is, I wouldn't call it down. Would you call it down?
It's slightly down based on numbers, but it doesn't feel like quality. Doesn't feel like, we haven't been sitting here going, man, oh man, it's slow today. Or
exactly. Yeah. And it just felt to me like, there might have been a couple of horses I thought went a little lighter than maybe they could, but when the whole first session is dominated by Walners. Yeah. This is the first time I think we had the first time that we had, like, Captain Corey were kind of peppered all through the catalog, right? And then you had this gigantic mass of Walners on day one. Who knows what displaced it a little bit, but it didn't feel down to me, but obviously the numbers are what they are.
Yep. Let's talk about some of the activity from yesterday for the stable. 146, that's where we're going to start. Frolic, a New Jersey eligible bay filly by Tactical Landing out of Sienna Hanover by Donato Hanover. Dams had 5 previous foals. 4 of them are winners, so a proven family here. And Tactical Landing, of course, needs no introduction.
Yeah, I know my brother Mark had driven most of these horses. He called me twice last night. I was going to bed, and the other one I was in the middle of eating, so I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but I figured he was calling about Frolic. He knows everybody in this family very, very well, and I know he thought very highly of Victor Laszlo and Karinchik, the horse that he drives now. So I just thought, for me, it was simple. We looked for maybe a few of the horses that had single jurisdictions, because once you attach that and Kentucky to any of these pedigrees, it seems to bring a little bit more.
Yep.
So how much was this horse worth to us, knowing everything we knew about the horse, and again, knowing that it was only single jurisdiction? I had the horse priced quite a bit higher than $47,000, and although we're stable as far away from New Jersey as many people, so it wasn't like it's around the corner. But we had luck this year with Perfect Thought, and obviously a couple of years ago with Tactical Mounds, and it's a great place to race. Obviously, it's always been the mecca of racing. I don't know if it will be forever, but it always has been. And to have a filly that is only New Jersey, at the end of the day, listen, we just want good horses.
Yep.
And if we can find a good horse with a good pedigree and a good head and a good body for less than what we think it's worth, then that's where we're going to shop.
Absolutely. What's the next number we got to go to here? Because I'm trying to get
260,
back on. Okay, this is Frolic on the screen right now?
This is Frolic, yeah. So she's a very, very, very big filly. And again, you're going to a mile track.
Yep.
And, if you're talking New York, well, maybe I'm not so happy about Frolic. But when you're talking about going to a mile track with a filly like this is exactly right up her alley and exactly what we're looking for. So I really thought that the horse came in quite a bit lighter than what we said. And again, take it for what it's worth. It's subjective. That's my opinion.
Yep.
Who cares? But I thought she came in a little bit light.
An exciting purchase, I think, is no doubt hip number 261, Highland Fire and Ice, from the first crop of King of the North. You talked about your brother Mark, obviously King of the North. He'll be pretty high on them as they debut. And here is a half-sister to Highland Kismet, just a standout last season at 3 for Mark Etzel. We saw the raw ability and talent that horse has, so you get the half-sister here from the first crop of King of the North.
It never dawned on me until last year. Amy and I broke and trained down the mother.
Okay.
Top Hill. Her first lifetime start was with us. And Highland Kismet made 560, but we don't have to guess how much he left on the table.
I wasn't going to say it, but that's a lot of raw ability.
He's a 7-figure winner that made 6 figures.
Yeah.
So a really, really fast horse, a really nice horse. I like the filly. I joked because the first farm I went to down here to look at babies was Spring Station.
Right.
I asked them, it was like 6 weeks ago or more, and they were a little hesitant because the babies are still a little raw and they're prepping them, and they allowed me to come out, and I wanted to look at this filly. Well, I was pulling into their farm, and they had big curbs there, and I busted up the bumper.
Well, that's where that happened.
That was this filly. The one that I busted the bumper of my car up on was
Highland Fire and Ice.
So really like the filly, and if I'm going to be completely honest, we just talked about and Kentucky.
Yep.
If this filly had have said Ontario and Kentucky, I don't think we're talking about it right now in the same way that we are. I think this is the particular horse. This is a particular horse that probably cost a lot of money, not having them dual eligible. Yeah, King of the North, first crop, and they've been going very, very strong, selling very strong. And this particular family, I just thought, you know what, there's always going to be a little bit of residual broodmare value, especially if King of the North hits, which it looks like he's going to, I guess.
Every opportunity there.
He's got every chance now. There's no complaints now. So, and the one thing that I always wanted to do was make sure we stay strong in Ontario. We've done our best to buy horses for jurisdictions, but Ontario is such a tough place to race that we really just had competitors. We didn't have anybody that was a Highland Fire and Ice, or supposed to be a Highland Fire and Ice. And I promised a lot of our clients that we were going to get back to our roots. We were going to get some horses that were going to be, at least try to get some horses that were competitive in Ontario. And, for our clients that stood behind us, and this filly's pretty much sold out now, for our clients that stood behind us, I think we did some good work yesterday with this filly. I think when you talk about any sort of a value-based purchase at that high end, this was the one, and I think it was mostly because she's on Ontario only. And there's more than enough races in Ontario for this filly.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just the whole stigma of not being and Kentucky.
The one thing about King of the North I wasn't sure was where they were going to stack up, and I think was it the first one that sold yesterday brought over $400,000. Brad Grant bought it.
It was a beautiful horse.
Yeah.
And he was a Ridgeling, too.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
And I just think that kind of really set the tone. Okay, no, King of the North, like you said, going to have every opportunity.
You show me a good horse that gets good mares, that throws good-looking horses. It's really hard for me to believe he's not going to be a good sire, right?
Yep.
And that's the whole thing. You look at any of the big sires, the Green Manalishis. When you looked at the Green Manalishis, it's not that shocking that Green Manalishi did well.
Right.
They throw nice horses. And King of the North got the book. He got the mares. He's going to get his chance. And it would be let's say, unlikely for me to believe that he isn't going to have a lot of luck in Ontario.
In Ontario, talk about those trotting ranks kind of getting revitalized a bit. Cadabra really just dominated for so many years. Now Green Manalishi's come along, King of the North coming along.
Yep.
Obviously,
he's kind of pushing a lot of the other ones out. Muscle Mass,
Muscle Mass,
a little long in the tooth.
That's what I was going to say.
You know, there's a horse that was almost a generational sire in Ontario. And you see these new sires coming up. Green Manalishi made a huge splash, and I think the King of the North is going to cut into that market share quite a bit next year.
Hip 289, Juju Me, Pennsylvania and Kentucky eligible bay filly by international money out of Cantab Hall mare La Cantera, a half-sister to Juju Bee, kind of similar to Highland Kismet when you talk about horses that have just high speed. Juju Bee actually took a mark of under 150 as a 3-year-old, and another horse that got a lot of accolades, a lot of awards, and I still think probably could have even actually done even more on the track.
Yeah, just a really, really nice horse. I looked at the family quite a bit. They have the sister down there, but she isn't the same body type as this filly. This filly is a very, very big filly. And two reasons I think we were, one, I knew we were probably able to get her, but two, the reason we were able to get her, one, she's a little toed out, but that's indicative of the international monies. You know, we've had, I always tell our clients that the international monies are the working man's sire, right?
Yep.
They always come out, they always try, they always do good. They're not always built correct, right? But even the ones like this filly are a number of the other ones we've had that they're towed out, and you're like, I might have to get some knee boots on this thing when it gets closer to the races, and then lo and behold, you get close to the races and they don't even hit. And we've had a number of them been like that. And when you look at, again, you're talking about residual broodmare value. You can discount Juju Bee all you want. Everything you just said is 100% correct. Sub 153-year-old trotter, dominant in his division, a very, very nice horse, and this is his half-sister by international money. It was really hard for me not to purchase this filly at this price. I just think it fits everything we're trying to do. And again, when you're looking at the value, this is an Kentucky horse, but I think just a little light maybe in my estimation on Juju Me.
So that's where we ended yesterday, correct? Did we have one more?
We did have one more.
Which one did I miss here?
I was Were you out partying?
No, I was sitting here for 8 hours.
You missed Prada or Nada.
Oh, so, yes. Yeah.
So this is the filly. We were just talking about Green Manalishi. This is the chimpanzee filly, first foal from the Muscle Hill sister, so full sister to Green Manalishi. And, you know, we're always... I can give you a list of potential angles you might have when you come to a sale, and some of them you may find them helpful or not. But when I look at some of the smaller farms that sell under bigger consignments, I think it's human nature. I just feel in my mind that maybe they don't get the same exposure that they would. And this filly here, I can't speak to. I can't speak to the price. I can't really wrap my head around it because she had a great video. She was a good-looking filly. I know this is a highly touted pedigree that they had bought this mare in full. So I just thought that 25 was almost silly when she was going through the ring, all things considered. And again, you're looking at that. Not only is she Kentucky, but she's got that bonus hook.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, with the chimpanzee. So very interesting pedigree, very interesting filly, and just one of those ones, you know, we talk about the cracks in the sail and the crevices, and there's one right there. You explain that to me because I can't. Yeah,
it's a little hard to believe. I mean, I've just pulled the number up on my iPad here, and obviously right away got a lot of green highlights and things like that. It's a page that certainly stands out. First foal, do you put much stock into that first foal? Is that something you're really looking for? I mean, I guess we can say, I think, was it the horse we looked at before? It was the 9th foal. So at the end of the day, I know some people have a little bias. They don't like
Big Fred does.
Is that right?
It's a Big Fred thing. He likes... my father, Freddie, doesn't like the older mares, and I told him I don't care. I just show me a good-looking horse that makes sense to me, that goes for less than we believe it's worth, and that's a horse we're going to be interested in. And you know, and he hates it when I bring it up. But Bulldog Hanover being what,
that's the one I was going to say,
15th foal or something. And I bring it up. He says, "Oh, you can't use that." I love teasing him about it, but you know, to me. All this stuff is cool. All the analytics, all the pages, everything is great. The videos, but you still got to race the horse. Show me the horse,
the individual.
And when you pull that horse out of the stall, if that horse looks good, its pedigree is good. Everything points to this being a nice horse. And oh, by the way, it's the 11th foal. Guess what? I don't care. And that's just me.
All right. Well, I'm just taking a look here at the averages when you talk about the various sires. King of the North, by the way, sold 4 horses yesterday for an average of $211,000. Now, obviously, when it's only 4, it's not a huge sample size, and there was the first one that brought over $400,000. But that's really making an impact right away, I think. And also looking at some of the other horses that stand out in terms of their average. Chimpanzee, 89,000 from 21.
I never would have guessed that. That's we had this conversation. I felt, from me just watching the chimpanzees that I was interested in go through the ring, I felt like the high end ones that maybe the European clients would be interested in were selling very strong, and the other ones kind of fell a little bit to me. So I'm a little surprised that you say $89,000. And then again, now you say $89,000, and again, you look at the page of 317 and tell me where 25 came from.
That's what I was going to say.
And the sad reality is it was very close to being 14, not 25.
Really?
So it was. I was a little shocked and still am. But as I said last night in the video, I drive horses, and this is a tough game. And it's really, tonight you might have a great night, and tomorrow you might have a bad night. It's a roller coaster. But for these breeders, I'm going to tell you what, man, these guys are tough. To come down here and not have any idea what a horse like that will bring, and then just stand there and watch it flop, it's tough. And I guess all I can say to them is we're going to do the best job to train this horse down so that the next one out of this mare that you sell maybe doesn't. And I think that's all we can do. I'm happy to get the price. I'm certainly not gloating. I'm happy to get the price. I hope she does well, and I hope we can do well for the mare and for the breeders of the horse, because she is a very good-looking filly.
We're going to go to videos here in just a moment to look at some of the horses for today. I think you bring up a good point there. The more and more I've gotten involved in sales over the years, you start to see that perspective of the breeders like you talked about. And something I never, ever put any stock into was, obviously they want to see their horse bring as much money as possible. But a big important thing they look at is who bought these horses and what kind of opportunities are they now going to have. And I'm not talking in terms of, they're going to have all the various races they can go to. I'm talking about what's the track record of that barn? Does that barn get horses to the races? Can they deliver? Because like you said, just because one brings 25,000 this year, the next foal, if could
5 times
right,
that.
if you have a home run. So that is, I would imagine, for a lot of those breeders and consignors that you talked about, when they are watching, and like you said, they're just standing there taking it all in. They're probably waiting to see, okay, who's going to get this though? If we come under where we were hoping, at least let's hope it's going somewhere where maybe we can make up for it down the road.
And much like you said, one of the proudest moments I had was a few years ago. We'd just been, racing some horses, I thought we were doing pretty good. And we had bought a horse like this, a horse that I thought would bring a lot more and brought a lot less. And actually the breeder came over to me and said, hey, I'm not happy with the price, but I'm happy that she's at least going to your guys' barn, because I know you'll get her to the races and hopefully have some luck with her. And it never dawned on me till that moment, the aspect you just talked about, was that maybe you did get a beating yesterday selling that horse, but now you have to look to next year, next year's horse. And it was a very flattering moment, and one that was very humbling, and one that we take very seriously. And I think we started 43 babies. We started to train down, and I think almost all of them made the races. A great deal of them took lifetime marks, and we're on our way. I wish that we had a resume that had the Breeders' Crown and the Hambletonian and the North American Cup on it, but that's stuff to come, hopefully.
Oh yeah.
And first and foremost is getting the horses there and getting them to the races.
Well, just to wrap up in terms of what day number 2 looked like, as we were talking about some of those numbers yesterday, 222 horses were sold, 19.1.
And certainly with the horses that we were looking at, I felt that a lot of them were selling quite a bit higher than I thought they might. So it was, again, when you look at the horses we bought, and because you followed us, we bid on a lot of horses. If there's 900 horses in the sale, I'd probably raise my hand on 200 of them. And for the horses that went through, I just didn't see that. And the patience, I'm not the most patient person, but when you look at day 1 to 2, you're looking at, I'm looking at the numbers, 36, then we got to 78, then we got to 98, 146, 261, 298, 289, and 317. So quite about 30 or 40 hips in between. So that's how much my patience is. It takes about 30 hips on a patient day to get another horse. But very, very happy with what we've done at the sale, and just as I said, very blessed from the outpouring of our clients to buy these horses up and continue to partner with us and stay involved with us, and hopefully we can keep it going.
All right, well, we'll get to the videos here as day number 3 is going to get underway. The average, in case you're wondering, last year on day number 3 was $48,000. So, of course, it is like that, and that's expected. So we'll see today where things stack up. We'll be back in a little bit.
By Acre D. I know I've brought you guys a lot of the Acre Ds. I'm always going to drift towards the first crop sires, and this is first crop for Acre D. This is not a dual eligible. This is single eligible, New Jersey only, filly. Now again, you look at the family, the mother's an EL Titan that made $147,000, right? The second dam is an SJ's Photo that made almost 300. This is a good family top to bottom. One of those meat and potatoes pedigrees that don't have any world champions or killers that stand out, but it's a very, very good looking horse. Number 373, Crazy Little Thing, selling here on day number 3 at Concord. Are we still going on about this horse? No. He looked fine to me.
No, he's winding. No, she's walking. This one's pulled out right now.
Valentina Blue made $556,000, trotted 151 and 2, was a very good horse in her own right, and this is her first foal. She's a little small, but yes, but you're getting the meat of the order here. This is the big mare in this sale, or in this pedigree, aside from the second dam, which is fourth dimension. This is a very good family, top to bottom. In fact, there's 5 generations shown on this page, and in the 5th one is Magician. So you have an entire page, an entire line of very, very good horses. So I'm more willing to accept a tinier horse than I am, especially with this pedigree. Now I did note in my original notes on this video, it looked like she might come a little close to her knees in the video, but after watching her walk, seeing how she is, again, I'm a little less worried about her being a little bit toed out. This is a horse, well, first off, she's a filly, worth quite a bit of money as a broodmare. Secondly, and she does have a little scar on her right shoulder also, but you can tell where that's from. That's from running into something and having it stitched up. So there's a lot going on with this filly, and a lot that makes me believe that this could be a horse that could be coming to the stable. Nixie Valencia. Very interesting prospect. Selling on day 3 at Crawford. Number 386, I'm always going to be enamored with the first crop sires. Day 1 was pretty strong with the Acre Ds. The Alarage one that I liked on day 1 sold for $500,000, I believe. Now this horse will not bring $500,000, but it is a gorgeous looking colt also. I uncovered the name, or I covered up the name here. The name is Tiberio. Tiberio is an Alarage one, March 18th, dual eligible, New Jersey and Kentucky colt. First colt from the mare. This is the second foal. Now the second dam, you see this in all the sales, not quite this high up. It's a glide. It's the second dam is the mother of Glide Master, Truth in Action, a very good family. I would say a little bit dated maybe, but a very, very good family. And as I say that dated, it doesn't necessarily mean that obviously the horse isn't going to be a good horse. There's no way to know that. But when I look at the colt himself, stands pretty good. A little toed out, maybe a hair. We saw that with the Alarage one yesterday, and it didn't seem to bother anybody, I suppose. The video is really the kicker for me. When the horse trots well in the field and looks good in the video, then I'm less concerned about a little bit of towing out. You can see, for the most part, how close that horse is going to as I like to say to you guys, how it exits the ground and how its gait looks and how it lands on the ground. If it comes off the ground good and doesn't really flip in that bad, I'm less concerned, especially when this is a New Jersey and Kentucky eligible. Those are both mile tracks. So this is number 386 Tiberio, selling on day 3 out of Crawford. He is a big boy. We have an international money, and every year we look at the international monies because unfortunately people don't pay enough attention to them. They have done us a lot of good over the years, a lot of good, and they always seem to be those bucket horses, the ones that fit in. You guys, even you guys are guilty of not looking at them. Arrowhead Hanover and Austral Hanover, 2 of our better international monies, and come April or May of their 2-year-old year, and you guys had still not bought all their shares up. That's how I ended up with decent chunks of both of them. And I have an affinity for them. They're honest to goodness, hardworking. They're the blue collar workers of the industry, and have done a lot of good for a lot of people, and us definitely falling in that list. Number 404, Red Bottom Royalty. This is a dual eligible Pennsylvania and Kentucky international money, February 16th, Philly. Out of Heels on Wheels. Again, the pedigree looks good on the horse. Nothing wrong with it. There's no standout names. There's no world champions in here. Just a lot of money, a lot of wins, good horses. So I think this is the type of horse that we're always on the lookout for. Always, always, always. And number 404, selling on day 3, is definitely a horse I'll be watching very closely. I like Red Bottom Royalty, but there's probably 30, 40, 50 horses that I like in this sale that could easily make up our buckets. And I would be happy and very interested in making Red Bottom Royalty one of those horses. So this is number 404, selling on day 3. Her name is Red Bottom Royalty, out of Crawford Farms Consignment. Well, number 408, I just looked at the international money out of Heels on Wheels. This is an Ontario, Kentucky eligible King of the North filly, January 31st, who is a sister to Heels on Wheels. Now, if you take a little look, you don't have to see what the issue is here. This little Ella Alabama is a tinier filly, which is fine. But look at the back of that left knee. She's got, looks like she got in a fight with a cougar. She probably got her leg over a partition or something. It's all superficial and it's not a big deal, but it may be a big deal when she enters the ring to be sold. So I look at that and say, geez, we're going to have an opportunity to buy a horse at a somewhat reduced price. Is she worth it? So I guess you have to look at the pedigree. You have to look at the video, which I liked, and say, okay, don't worry about that left knee. That'll be fine in a week. Do you like this horse? Well, I guess my dig is a little bit smaller. The King of the North have been bigger and racier looking. This horse actually looks more like a Chapter 7 maybe, which isn't concerning to me. But is she one of our bucket horses? I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess, if I'm going to be completely honest, you know what I'm about to say, that will come down to price. That'll come down to what I think that this horse is worth. I'm not worried about that left front. It's nothing. It's all superficial. And although everybody that sees her is going to know the same thing, you're still going to have people that are going to shy away and walk away from her. If she'd have been a big, strapping, gorgeous filly, maybe. But when you got a medium to small looking filly and she's got a wound of some sort or some issue that is obvious to you, superficial or otherwise, it's just far too easy just to turn the page. So number 408, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to be watching. The pedigree isn't tremendous. It's okay. I'm going to be watching this filly just to see what happens in the ring with number 408, Ella Alabama. Number 410, Fairy Wings. It's not that Chimpanzee has done us a ton of favors since we started buying them. That's not the case. But they do have some good-looking horses, and I have to believe that there's going to be some value here, and that hasn't been the case in the last 3 years, and maybe I'm way off here. But the Chimpanzees, I think we've seen enough of them in the race to say that they're okay horses. They're not Chapter 7s. There isn't an abundance of them cleaning up in Kentucky, but they've been doing okay, and obviously Degas would be our best, I think our best Chimpanzee, and I rather like her. So the fact that I really like the filly and she does have talent leads me down the path of, maybe we would buy another one or another two if there was value found. Now, the chimpanzees are generally a little smaller, like the Chapter 7s, a little more frail, but what you see there is quite a big one. In fact, one of the biggest ones I've seen. Number 410, Fairy Wings. This is a Kentucky eligible bay filly, March 10th. She's a good looking filly. She got a nice video, and another one of those horses we're going to be watching very closely and saying, well, is there value here? I don't know. We'll see. We'll all see together. I believe day two here in Kentucky, coming out of Alliance Bloodstock. This is Fairy Wings. It's a good looking horse right there. Oh, I don't want to screw this name up. Number 434, Matcha Delete. Matcha Delete. Okay, I guess so. This is a Captain Corey filly, Kentucky and Pennsylvania eligible. The Hannah Dream Girl. She made $200,000. Took a 2-year-old mark at 56, went on to trot in 53 and 2. Good family, top to bottom again. You're getting down to Ship's Dream, Buttafuoco. They're in a lot of sales. They're hanging on there on the last part of the pages, but aside from all the page and all the horses that are on it, this is a really, really good looking horse. I like the horse. I like this filly. I like this filly's video. A lot of the Captain Corey, she is towed out a little bit, but you can tell in her video, I don't think it's going to be a problem. And a lot of the Captain Corys are built like that, right? They're imperfect, but man, just look what they did this year on the track. They're no different this year than they were than the years leading after that. So the horses this year that were 2-year-olds. Now the horses that are coming out as 2-year-olds next year, and the ones that we're looking at now, they're all built the exact same. The ones that we have in the field are the same also. They're not perfectly correct, but man, they trot pretty good. So number 434, this is a Captain Corey March 10th filly here at Crawford. She's a big, strong filly. Moves really nice in the field. You can see what I'm talking about if you look at her front feet. The way she's kind of landing, it's at 11 and 1. She is towed out a little bit, but as I said, you look at her video and show her under speed, there's no issues there. So I like number 434, Matcha Delete. I'm sure I'm not saying this right, but anyway, Matcha Delete. I don't know how you say it any different. A filly that I think is, I've seen a lot of the Captain Corys here, and this is one of the more athletic looking ones, I believe. Number 434, Matcha Delete, selling on day 3 here in Lexington. Number 448, this is a weird pedigree. We're here at Concord, day 3 Concord, deconstructed. A weird little pedigree here. This is a first foal from a Sweet Lou mare. Now that Sweet Lou mare, her mother Rainbow Room, winning 51 and 2 as a 2-year-old, timed in 50 and 2, made $482,000, and that horse is a Some Beach Somewhere. That's the second dam. The third dam is Rainbow Blue. Now, the Bulldogs have been very, very well received. Diggs, I guess shortcomings on this guy, just a hair towed out, but his video was pretty good. And his pedigree is very interesting also. So 448, I think, is a yes, depending on the price, what he goes for. But after watching the Bulldogs on day 1, I don't know if we're going to have a shot at 448. But our job is to take a look at all of them, all the ones that interest us, put prices on them, and wait. And we will be waiting for number 448. Deconstructed, selling here out of Concord on day number 3. Good. Thank you. Oh, you're going to walk them? Oh, no, go ahead. Walk them. It's fine. Walner Colt at a Blue Skies Shining, who's a Muscle Hill. took a mark of 155 and 4. Now, the most interesting part of this family is in the 3rd and 4th dam, actually. Resolve is in the 3rd, Wilsonator and those horses are all in the 4th. You see a lot of those pedigrees with these horses in them. This is a much more younger, let's say, branch of the tree, so to speak. Blue Skies Shining. This is the first foal from that Muscle Hill mare, and this is a Walner colt. Dual eligible, selling on day number 3. Air Patrol is the name of this colt. Number 455, I Know Lucky. This is a Chapter 7 out of the Sister to Crown Monarch. Now, the Callisto Dream is a Donato Hanover, so out of a Donato Hanover mare, had a 6-pack, 2-year-old. This is the second foal from Callisto Dream. This here is a Chapter 7. And if I'm going to be completely frank, I know this horse might look a little small, might look a little short. This is actually above average size for a Chapter 7, if you can believe that. The 3rd dam is a dam of Muscle Babe, Explosive Muscles. This is a good family. It's a working man's family right here with a really, really good looking horse standing in front of you, and also only New York eligible, not New York and Kentucky, just New York. So you have the single jurisdiction filly, May 1st. Wow, this is a big Chapter 7 for May 1st. So this is a Chapter 7, May 1st, New York only eligible filly. I like this filly. I Know Lucky, selling here on day 3 out of Concord. And man, nice video and a really, really good looking horse. Amy.
All right, everyone. A little closer look at some of the horses that are selling today. You mentioned, Anthony, about the fact you may bid over the course of the sale on 200 horses. Yep. I think we're going to have videos on, by the end of it all, how many videos do you think we're going to have? About 100 almost?
A lot. We need a lot of videos. I mean, listen, we look at a lot of horses, and
you got it.
It's tough for me. There's part of me says, I don't want to show the best horses I'm looking at.
Tip your hand.
Tip my hand, but I mean, we have so many people, or so many horses we're looking at. I don't think it makes a big deal, and quite frankly, I don't know what we're going to buy. Right? And that's the beauty of it. People ask all the time, and they look a little. When you tell them I might bet on 200 horses, and people say there's no possible way, but it is. And what we're looking for is that value, right? We're looking for, if I think a horse brings 30 and I can possibly get it for 18, well, that's a horse. If my notes are correct, and which they are generally, and I always have my wife there double checking everything. Amy is always looking at the horses too. So what I like to do is make my own notes. She makes her own notes, and then as the horses are coming in the ring, we'll look at each other's notes to see what we think. But if we both have that horse priced at say 30,000, it's bringing 18. Well, there's a good chance we're going to bid. And the other side of it is, once it gets to 30 or 32. Probably not.
Right.
And it doesn't matter whether it's 180 for Highland Fire and Ice or whether it's the Prada or not a horse for 25. We had prices on those horses, and we try our best to stick to them.
I didn't ask you this earlier in the week. How was the traffic back there in terms of comparing it to past years when you've been out looking? Has it been as busy? Do you find it's a little quieter? Because maybe that actually would have given us a better sign as to where things were going to stack up.
I didn't feel it. I think I was as surprised as you when you looked and said that the sale was down a little bit. I guess you had made reference to somebody saying, well, the sale wasn't really down. It was just really strong.
The last couple of years, yeah.
And I think that's my feeling, too, because, the traffic at the consignments when we were there, we were here on Sunday and went to Hunterton and Preferred, and it was jammed, right?
Yep.
I will say this. All the consignments do a good job getting the horses out, but I will give props to Crawford Farms. We had pulled 10 or 12 or 15 horses out. It was just bang, bang, bang. And there was a lot of people there. It wasn't like there was this gigantic lull in the a gigantic lull in the action.
Yep.
They were on point, and it's not that anybody else wasn't. I don't think I would say it on air if they weren't, but I didn't find there was anybody bad. But when I thought about it just now, and I was going to say it, they did a hell of a job. That was a great job getting the horses out, and that's a big deal because if we're going there to look at 25 horses,
Yep.
and you don't want it to chew up 2.5 hours of your day, and that's exactly what could happen if things are a little sluggish. So there obviously is an art form to it, and they have it down to a science.
We didn't really talk about this yesterday, but we were, after we went off with our stable show, we were part of the Breeders' Crown Charity Challenge festivities that were going on, and they were auctioning off stallion shares, or not shares, a breeding for 2026. I was looking at those results today, just kind of glancing to see how it went. $163,000 got raised on 7 breedings. That's what's auctioned off. Just trying to do the math in my head. I'm trying to find it here because I know it's just a breeding.
Yep.
And we know what the stud fees are for some of these horses. We also know for some of them it's hard to even get
you can't get in
get in, right?
Yeah.
So a Walner yesterday, $50,000, but that is a stud fee, right? So
you can get a Walner breeding, especially for us. We have 11 broodmares.
Yeah.
And I get beat up 2 years ago. We had bought a Walner breeding, but it was money up front. And this is when Walner was razor sharp and real hot in the market. And it never dawned on me, just being a rookie breeder, somebody who breed, we only have a few horses. It never dawned on me that, by the way, the mare might not get in full. And that's exactly what happened. And that hurt. That's going to hurt for a long time. But, the breedings are a little tricky.
Well, what surprised me, Bulldog Hanover yesterday, it brought $11,000.
Yeah, I know.
They actually had to sell it 3 different times.
I think I told this story last year. I might be the only human being on earth that lost twice on a Walner breeding.
Really?
The first one was last year.
Yeah.
Mare didn't get in full. And the Walner's very first year, they had one of those charity auctions. And I bought the Walner breeding. I think I paid $22 for it, which was a little bit less. Maybe it was $18 because it was a little bit
just
less
under
than
the stud
breeding.
fee.
Yeah. And I thought I had the world by the butt, And the mare, literally within 5 hours.
Yep.
The mare that I had the breeding for, somebody came and wanted to buy that specific mare off me because of the cross. I ended up selling the mare, and I said, well, I don't need the breeding now.
Right.
I put the breeding on preferred or on gate, and I got $1,000 less, but we had sold the mare for really good money. So I'm like, who cares? So I lost. I might be the only human being on earth to lose twice on a Walner breeding. Last year, when we had to eat the money up front breeding, and then the first year, which would be the second year, I guess. No, it was the first year on Walner because we didn't need the breeding any longer. So yeah, it was a little frustrated, but I don't know what to do with my hands.
I like how the people behind the camera are trying to tell us what we should be doing up here. Yeah, that's nice of them.
But we don't tell them what to do.
Yeah, that's no. I don't because I have no idea what they're doing back
there. Like Cammy, can you go get us some hamburgers? No, we don't tell him what to do.
Okay, well, I didn't want to bring this up just yet because I was going to save it for the end of the show. But how do you feel about maybe we create a segment called Cam's Corner?
Oh, I love it.
And he does food reviews.
You have no idea. So everybody in our entourage, so to speak, we might have 20 people that are our people here in Lexington, whether you guys or clients or Amy's parents or whatever, and we all love to eat and we all love good food, right? Last night we went to Tony's, and everybody knows where to go in this town. And it when you're here for the first time, all people say to me, "Oh, I'm coming into Lexington. Where should I go to eat?" It's like one of the best places I've ever been to, food-wise.
Yep.
If you don't like the food in Lexington, you should just stop eating because it is.
I'd actually, that's not doctor's advice to stop eating, but
no, it isn't. But I mean, you can if you don't enjoy the food here. I don't know what you're going to enjoy.
And Cam loves it, and he is always roaming the grounds. And I think he told me
he's like a carny eater, though. He'll like tacos and corn and like carnival food. He'll eat anything. He's like a raccoon. He'll eat anything, but. Again, he's happy to eat the good stuff also. So you're right. I will tell you all the good restaurants. We should have like Cam's raccoon food review or something where he can tell you about every good little taco stand, everything on the grounds, like the taco truck out there is amazing. And then he was worried because this year he was very upset. This year he didn't get the 100 steak sandwiches. It's really ruined his from time to time he really looks sad over it. Yeah. But he knows where all the little nooks and crannies are.
He was telling us that we had to go to Country Lane to get the hamburgers.
Oh, I mean,
guess what happened when Curtis and I went to get a hamburger yesterday?
None left?
They ran out.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the breakfast sandwiches at Country Lane are to die for.
Yep.
And the hamburgers are good. What I've noticed is if I go and eat 3 of the breakfast sandwiches that I've been accustomed to, and I have Starbucks, and then I go out to eat at a steakhouse, I am going to look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man by the time I get back. None of the suits are going to fit. Like, I try to trim down right before Lexington, lose about 4 or 5 pounds.
Just so you can.
I might have put 5 pounds on last night.
Oh.
I got to be careful. Got to be careful here.
Did you get any dessert last night?
I didn't because I knew. I'm like, my mouth says
Might have
yes.
been the biggest brownie I've ever seen come to a table. Actually, it wasn't even really about the brownie. It was how much ice cream.
Yeah, they put a whole tub of ice cream
Yeah.
out. It's like, yeah, it's going bad in 2 days. Just give them the whole tub. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
It's a great town for a number of reasons. I'll tell you what. It feels like a vacation every year, and that's what I love about this place, is that we're all in the midst of racing and working hard. This is stake season. Mm-hmm. But for these 3, 4, 5, 6 days right now at the end of September, it's almost like we're all on vacation and we all get to go to this horse sale, and it's the coolest thing.
It really is. What about today? What should we be looking for here on day number 3?
Well, I'll tell you. I was the underbidder on 3, if not 4, pretty high-end pacers. We have a gentleman in Australia and a gentleman in New York that are pushing for that high-end type pacer. There is a couple of high-end type pacers today. It shouldn't be that hard to figure out who they are because there's 110 pacers selling, but not of that variety. We are looking for another trotting filly to purchase today. And if you guys follow along with us, we have the buckets every year, and people say there's a stupid name for them or whatever, but I hear it up. My wife says it all the time. Come up with a better name. What do you want me to call it? These are groupings of horses that we're trying to put. Yeah, the tubs, whatever. We're trying to put them all together, and we've got. I said we were going to buy a high-end trotter. We bought 2, and they're both virtually sold out, which is pretty incredible. We have not got our high-end pacer yet. Our fillies bucket that I called it was 3 trotting fillies around the 40 to 50 range, and of course we've already almost filled that up. We have Frolic, who fits in there at 47. Mm-hmm. We have Juju Me that fits in there at 49. And if today was over, we still kind of do have Prado or Nada, which is $25,000 now. I'm going to put her in what I had called the flyer bucket, and that's because that's exactly what she is. A horse that I thought would bring a lot more money, and a bucket that I thought revolved around kind of extreme value. Mm-hmm. A horse that I thought would bring a lot more money that brought a lot less than I thought it would for no particular reason, and we do get those every single year. And I would think that filly fits squarely in there, and she's kind of going to snuggle right up with the pacer we bought on day 1, Deadline, who is the sister to Be Perfect, or the brother to Be Perfect BG. That horse is going to fit in there too. So if I was going to be, I would say today or tomorrow, I would like to find that high-end pacer if I could.
Yep.
I would like to find a trotting filly and maybe one other horse for a bucket. But we have 7 right now. I think we're going to buy 3 more. We're going to leave Lexington with 10, no more than 11. And that is kind of right on track of what we were trying to do from the start.
And then how would that shape things up, though, when we get to the Harrisburg?
It really wouldn't. It doesn't affect it. We're looking for everything we want. Now, this sale is mostly about the best pedigree we can get for the least amount of money, mm-hmm. right? London sale is about London, Ontario product. Obviously, we're going to probably buy a horse or 2 in London. We've already got our Ohio breds from the Ohio Select. And when it comes to Harrisburg, it's what do we need, right? Now, you look at your cupboard. We need some cups. We need some forks. And it's going to be, we need some PA breds. We may need another New Jersey. Geez, we don't have any New York breds. We could get a couple of those. That's kind of what Harrisburg is for. Harrisburg is about finishing off our grocery list. And we're just getting started right now. So I've been very happy with the way the week has gone. I mean, I went through it over and over and over again in the car the last 2 days talking about it. I mean, when you look at what the stable has done so far, we got the Wallner brother out of Ariana G. Now, I guess by the standards of a world champion broodmare, she's been 0 for 3, mm-hmm. right? Or 0 for 4. This is 5.
Yep.
But none of them are horrible horses. They just aren't nowhere near Ariana G. But at $48,000, he doesn't have to be anywhere near Ariana G. He just has to be a nice horse, and if he turns out to be a better horse than his siblings would have you believe, then so be it. But my argument to that is the same one you and I talked about. Moneymaker took her, 7?
I was just looking up Moneymaker because I was thinking it did take a while. But
it took 7.
But when
I'm almost sure.
that kind of horse, you have to think eventually the odds say something's going to hit.
How don't you, man? I mean, you got a world champion sire, a world champion mare. At some point, you have to throw a good horse.
Yep.
And it did take
International money was number 9.
9.
Yep.
How did the first 8 look? None of them made 6 figures.
One
One
did.
did.
Can't have my money made 145.
145.
Everything,
So
yeah.
9.
Yep.
Number 9. This
Yep.
is number 5. So we're well on our way. But it's just a good-looking horse. And I told this, it sounds stupid, but when we got here and we were looking at day 1 and we're looking at, what the horses are going to bring. And the one correlation between all the high-end horses, right? One,
Yep.
they all have pedigrees that are good, but the videos, the yearling videos were key. So Amy and I talked about it, and I said, I don't want to buy a horse with a bad video.
Right.
But what if we grade the videos? What if we look for a B+ video and an A+ pedigree? What's that get you? That gets you superweight,
Exactly.
number 36. And that's exactly what we tried to do in day number 1. And then you look at number 78. I always love nothing more than when people I have a lot of respect for come up and we always ask each other on the grounds, hey, what did you get? What do you think? And I had an Italian gentleman. Him and his sons they buy horses here all the time. Pretty heavy hitters.
Right.
They're not our clients, but I run into them all the time at the sales and at the Red Mile. And the father had looked up and he said, oh, you buy number 78. I thought that was an extremely good purchase on day number 1. And for me, who I'm doing my best to find the most value I can, and whether that's found in a 180, 120, or a $25,000 horse.
Yep.
That was, to me, that was feather in my cap from somebody that I hold in high regard to say, hey, you did a good job so far on this horse anyway.
I'm just looking at Ariana G's previous foals.
Yep.
And the very first one was a Chapter 7, so we're getting into the same kind of, when we're talking about Walner, Chapter 7.
Yep.
Grande was 2 for 7, only raced at 2, but had a mark of 54 and 4.
Yep.
And then the latest foal is a Walner, the 2-year-old this year, American Power,
Yep.
who has a mark now of 53 flat. So there's maybe,
You know
and then
who knows
the
that?
two in between were Green Shoes.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to go down the road. of
No.
throwing
But
daggers,
I'm just saying. But
Yeah.
if you're going back to that Chapter 7 Walner,
Yep. And now
there's
you're back to
something there.
Walnut.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
you know who noticed that, and I didn't? Big Fred.
there you go.
My father said to me, he said, the other one just won in 53, the other day and looked pretty good. And I did not know that. I mean, I can't know everything about all the horses. So there's 121 horses on day 1. There might have been, I think my list had 84 on it.
Yeah.
So there's 84 horses I would potentially bid on day number 1, which is 2/3 of the sale. So when 36 come up, I watch them in the back ring. I only had a few notes on them because you're not buying a Walnut of Ariana G. In my mind, you're not buying that horse. So Amy had said she looked at the horse. There's an OCD out of his left hind ankle. He moves nice, decent video. She was actually what we were looking for, kind of that B+ video, yet an A+ pedigree. And this is what we got from it, was 48. And then, again, going back to the story with the Italian gentleman, that's the number I had on number 78, knowing that I probably couldn't get the half-sister to Montserrat by Muscle Hill, by the way, a dual eligible with that Kentucky hooked onto it.
Yep.
I just didn't think we'd be able to get that horse. But again, go back and look at the video. She moves nice, but you don't really see her sprinting across the field.
Right.
Those videos that you look at them and go, wow, that horse looks great. Well, that's your A+ video.
Yep.
This filly's just trotting along nicely and looks good. You say that's a B+ video and an A+ pedigree, and I believe that number represents what an A+ video would have looked at, and that one is the B. That's my personal feeling on it.
You know what's interesting? You mentioned about we can't know every single horse that's racing across North America and what they did yesterday or even a week ago.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot that goes on, especially you got to focus on everything that you have to do. It's actually from a pedigree reader standpoint, let's say when I'm at the London sale,
Yep.
that's one of the first things I'm looking for is what updates can I give because they're not on the page. That also being said, before Equiline on iPads, because they're the updates that come in very quickly, I mean, there was probably, I imagine a lot of these consigners were going around trying to spread the word like they would have, hey, the 2-year-old brother went 53, right?
The analytical people look like Gandalf the Black with the big book. This horse raced the other day.
Yeah, trying to update. I know technology has probably made lives a lot easier in terms of getting the word out.
Well, we have one client, and I appreciate it. I try to give him a shout out all the time, David. He's in Australia. I don't know what he does for a living, a super analytical guy, and he had a filter, something that he built with AI, where he would go in and look at the videos, and then run everything, all the analytics through an AI filter.
Okay.
And then he would grade the horses at the sale. And I almost jumped in he had a chimpanzee yesterday ranked very, very high, and I'd already bought
Right.
the chimpanzee, so I didn't buy the horse. But it's always interesting. You have all these new tools to look at, and you can get away from actually looking at the horse when you're looking at all that stuff. So all of our clients, I get all these mountains of information coming in from our clients, but I use it and then use my eyes as a filter also, and saying, okay, your analytics may say this, but your analytics doesn't know that horse is toed out, or that horse is back in his knees. That horse is just small or too big, and it's almost like it's leaning towards baseball, right?
Yeah.
There's an analytic for everything that takes place. And it's cool, but it can be overwhelming sometimes.
It can. There was an interesting video I saw. It was on the thoroughbred side when I was here for Keeneland a couple weeks ago, where there's a gentleman who, when you see, I don't know if you've ever seen behind the scenes when they're making a video game and they got the little balls on the body.
Yep.
What he does is he takes some of your champion horses, and they're able to put little pinpoints, just have a shot of the horse from the side standing, just get a full look and kind of pinpoint, the length between certain distances. Yep. And then he takes the yearlings and compares, and is looking for a horse that has the exact same frame as a champion.
Do you think he can put any balls on their heart or their lungs?
Well, okay, that is something you can't measure, but he's got this philosophy that that's what you want to look for. That this is the peak specimen.
I would be very interested to see how those analytics
and gets the walking as well, and can put the side by side of the walking, and then it was really something cool. I have to pull it up and show it to you.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, but it goes back. The reason that everybody shows up at Lexington, right? You could be the richest person here.
Yep.
It does not mean that you're going home with the best horse. And that's the greatest thing about horse racing, is that you just don't know, right? And everybody buys all these lottery tickets every year at Lexington and Harrisburg and London, Ohio. But that's what makes it so great, is that you don't know, right? The not knowing is what makes horse racing such a fantastic sport. And it's cool, though, to see everybody try and just break it all down into one number. It's very cool.
I don't want to pick on those that spend $1 million, because you need those people in your industry as well. And I think it's very good for the industry when you see $1 million yearlings. But at the same time, to your point, you looked at the Mohawk Million a couple weeks ago. The favorite, Endurance, was a $14,000 yearling by last year at Harrisburg. And there was another horse that started in that race, Cambridge Hanover, who was $1 million yearling. So it just shows you, and that's 12 months later almost, they're both at the same spot. And hey, it doesn't matter how you get there, but you're right. You don't have to be going for the big one. You can go bargain shopping, and at the end of the day, it could work out.
Whatever makes you happy.
Exactly,
That's the greatest thing about this game. And that's I think that's why we have so many clients, is because whatever your budget is.
Yep.
Before, when you approached a trainer and said, well, how much does it cost me to buy a horse? Well, that number could be any number.
Yeah.
But the reality is, when you come to the stable, you can tell me, this is my budget. What do you think? I have people all the time email me. I had a gentleman from Australia and another one from Germany over the last few months message me and said, Mr. McDonald, I watch your YouTube videos or whatever, and I'm just wondering, a friend of mine has a horse with you. What does it cost? And then obviously from there, I would forward that email to Kelly Spencer, who takes care of all our information, all our social media stuff, and just say, hey, sir, I've put you in touch with Kelly Spencer. She's going to give you everything you want to know. If there's anything else you need to know, I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. And more times than not, when those people go on the site and they're immersed in what we do and how we do it, they usually become clients of ours. And that's a great feeling to know there's people that know nothing about horses. And you can tell by the way that they frame their emails that they have no idea what horse racing is all about, but they think it's cool.
But they're intrigued.
And that's the thing, is that this industry sells itself so short that it doesn't realize that it isn't about the gambling. It's a very important component of it is gambling, obviously a huge component. But to get new clients involved in horse racing, my personal feeling is you're not going to do it through a low takeout pick six, right? You're not going to do it by advertising on Standard Rate Canada or the USTA. No disrespect, but if we're trying to get new people in the game, you need to get fresh eyeballs on our sport, and we do a terrible job doing that. And I think once we recognize the power and the worth of the entertainment that we provide as an industry, we need to shift away from just being focused on gambling.
Yep.
And starting to look at it. Because what happens is, and the reason I say this, probably a lot of people saying at home saying, oh, one of these guys. No, at the end of the day, it's as simple as this. And we can work together because most of our clients get involved and they will profess that they do not gamble. And I hear it all the time. I don't gamble, I don't go to casinos, I don't bet on races. But within that time frame of being a client,
Now
they wager on their horses.
starts to-
And if they wager on their horses and have fun, and maybe we're not racing anything on a Saturday night, and they say to their wife, you know what, honey, why don't we get down to the track tonight? I know we don't have anything going, but maybe we'll go down to the track tonight. That's how we as an industry work together.
Yep.
Whether it be the racetrack and the casino company and the horseman, and you probably know all too well, that connection is mostly severed everywhere. There just isn't that symbiance. There's not that working relationship between the racetrack, the casinos, and the horseman.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that has to be that's a gap that has to be bridged. For us to move forward together as an industry.
All right, we got some more videos, I do believe, to look at horses that'll be selling here today on day number 3.
Number 456, Kapalua Bay. This is an Acre ED. Now, I like these horses. I'm always going to lean towards first crop sires. It's just the way I'm built. And when it comes to this particular horse, she's built very, very well. Now, she's not without her faults, not physically. There's no faults to find physically. But her only fault that I can see is third dam is the only one shown on here. First dam is a first foal from a Trixton mare. The second dam is that Trixton mare, and then you have to look to the third dam before you see actual horses. Marseille's in the third dam. Cash Hall is in the fourth dam. So there's some nice horses there. But with this particular filly, who is a Kentucky and Virginia eligible. Hey, Virginia eligible also. We're going to Virginia with Cherry. New Jersey, Kentucky, and Virginia. Kapalua Bay. Look at that. So triple eligible, New Jersey, Kentucky, and Virginia eligible. I really, really like this filly, and I like her even more now that I just said that last couple of sentences. She's put together well. She got a nice presence, a really nice video. She's triple eligible. One of those eligibilities is to a jurisdiction, one that's at the end of the year, and I'm not going to say it. I'm not saying historically. Generally speaking, in the past, has been a weaker jurisdiction. Number 456, Kapalua Bay, selling on day number 2, I believe, here in Lexington. Again, we have another Chapter 7 here, and it is a chunkier Chapter 7. That may sound silly to you looking at the horse, but that is an above-average Chapter 7, especially when, February 23rd. There you go. February 23rd out of a Muscle Hill mare. Now, this is interesting. There's only been one other foal, and it was a Love You. Take him or leave him. I don't really have an opinion, to be honest. But the first foal was a Love You. This is a Chapter 7. Steuben Hanover is in this family. One World. This is a good family. Top to bottom, again, this is a solid day 3 pedigree and a very solid looking day 3 Chapter 7. This is the kind of horse we are absolutely looking for, and it is right here at Concord Stud Farm. Number 464, Love Ain't, is selling here on day number 3.
This one's got a nice video.
Very nice horse.
Like, he's little, but you can't even touch this.
But he's not even little. Not for a Chapter 7, he's not. Yeah, he
If you
moves
see his head on
nice.
it, you should see his head on it. It's crazy.
Okay, so we buy this guy. Well, one of the best colts this year in Ontario was Till the Cows Come Home. That's Jody and Carl's colt. Fortunately, he ran into Bojangles, who's a bit of a monster, but has been a great horse. I'll tell you how good he is. He raced against Bojangles all year and still made $240,000 as of right now, with a 2-year-old mark at 50-3, timed in 49-2. Winner of the Nassau and second in the Battle of Waterloo. This is a very nice filly right here. This is the full sister to Till the Cows Come Home. Now, 8th foal, the first one, with the most money made in the family, actually, is a horse named Beach Boogie. Beach Boogie was a some beach somewhere that made $500,000, took a mark of 49-2 and a 5/8. This is the second highest money earner now after cataloging. Was till the cows come home. That's a cattle wash colt, as I said, the full brother to this filly. She's not a giant, but she is not going to be a small filly. It's going to be a beautiful middle-of-the-road, middle-sized filly, and by a sire who dominated in Ontario last year at cattle wash. So a day 3, really, really good-looking filly here, an Ontario bred, and Ontario only. You know, we're talking about ways in and how we can maybe afford some of these top pedigrees. It didn't work out so far for us in Ontario with being shut out in a number of bulldogs already, but this one here, this cattle wash filly, is really, really good-looking. And definitely a horse that will fit what we're trying to do for Ontario 2026. This is Cow Cow Boogie. Cow Cow Boogie. Not really sold on the name, but definitely sold on the filly. Beautiful filly. My goodness, another good-looking Chapter 7 here. Brown colt, February the 3rd. Well, that helps. February the 3rd, Chapter 7 colt. This colt is out of a Muscle Hill mare who is a sister to Refined. This is just about as good as you're going to get in day 3, isn't it? Man, what a good-looking horse. Refined, obviously a very, very good mare. $1.3 million made, America 150 and 2 and a 5/8. Just been a great mare since she was a great filly. Just a great family top to bottom. Number 494. This horse moves nice. I guess we're going to go to digs. Are we going to say he toes out a hair? I mean, a hair maybe? But man, what a good-looking horse this is. I've looked at the videos of these horses, and they all move well in the field. They don't look like they're going to interfere, so I'm less worried about a horse that toes out a little bit than I am one that maybe shows like it might come close in the videos. So here is number 494, Hypersonic, selling on day number 3. What a good-looking colt this is. A lot of nice horses selling on day number 3, and this is one of them. 494, Hypersonic, selling on day number 3 here at Concord. April 5th, that is the day that this Captain Corey was born. Hook and Reel. Now, another one of those horses. This is a day 3 pedigree, but a beautiful horse. I don't really know. What's better? Have a deep pedigree on day 3 with some imperfections, or have an incredibly good-looking horse with kind of a soft pedigree? I wouldn't say this is super soft pedigree. You have Cameron Hall down in the 4th, but you got to look to the 4th. First, second, and third have horses that made money. The Tactical Landing Brother made $129,000, was a 2-year-old winner in 55. Let's see if there's any updates here. Tavern on the Green. Oh, I know this horse. 55 this year, $31,000 made. These are the brothers of the horse. And then the second dam, you have Asteroid, who was exported. It's a creatine that took a mark of 51 and 4 in Europe. So maybe a little deeper pedigree than even I noticed at first glance. Number 496 is a really, really good-looking horse and a really, really well put together horse. So I am actually quite a bit interested in number 496, Hook and Reel, as we head through day number 2 and get into day number 3 here in Lexington. First crop sires are always something I lean towards. You guys know that. I've said it numerous times here since I've been in Kentucky. It's just, for me, for a guy who always never had a ton of money, it was always an opportunity for me to get some value. It's a bit riskier. You don't know anything about the sire. I have no idea what Pebble Beach is going to do. But I do know a good horse when I see one. And number 511, Warcry Echo, is a very, very good-looking horse and a very interesting pedigree. Not only is it a first crop sire, but it is also, how many foals has this little girl had? One previous foal down by the seaside. This is the second foal. So a young mare, a very young stallion, but a very good family in behind. The second dam is the dam of Southwind Tempo. Who else is on here? Oh, Hula Z-Tam made $1 million. Southwind Tempo made $2.4 million. This is an extremely good pedigree and an extremely good-looking horse. How much money are we going to get off to take a risk and gamble on a first crop sire like Pebble Beach? I would love to find out with this guy. I like everything about him. This is a Kentucky sired. This horse not in Ohio yet. It's a Kentucky sired and the Kentucky bonus. Colt March 9th by Pebble Beach. And I really, really like him. So we'll see. This is the type of horse I want to put in the bucket, and hopefully we'll be able to.
How you doing, Lucky?
What's going on, man? Number 513, we're on day 3 here. We're at Blue Chip Farms consignment. This is Bernadette Blue Chip. This is a green Manalishi. Now, I will be completely upfront with everybody. 0 for 3, pretty much. Warlock Blue Chips Racing, the father Patrick. This is the green Manalishi. But all the interest is in down below. HL Revedon, very nice horse. Very, very nice horse. And then in the third dam, you have Donato Hanover. Here comes Herbie. It's good family. This is our type of horse. I know old Big Fred, he's going to tell me, you know, if they have nothing on the top end, I don't have much interest. Well, luckily, I'm not Big Fred. We've had a lot of luck doing this with a lot of horses. You know, my take on it is very simple. If you have a good pedigree and a good-looking horse, and this is a good-looking horse, then eventually something will hit, right? That's my take. It could be wrong. Maybe that's a sucker's bet. I have no idea. But we've had good luck doing this also. Bernadette Blue Chip, you show me a good horse like Green Manalishi, good sire, and a good mare, which this horse was meant to be. It's a Chapter 7 mare. Good pedigree behind them. And I'm more apt to believe, you know what, they'll eventually throw a good horse. And this is a good-looking filly right here. A February 1st Bay filly by Green Manalishi out of the Chapter 7 mare. Here's Nice. I think it's Nice. Honestly, I don't have much wrong to say about this filly. Great video, great body, good attitude, seems sharp as a tack even here on day 3. So I absolutely. I hope there's a lot of Big Freds out there that don't like 0 for 3, because I would love nothing more than to help this mare become 1 for 4. Number 513, Bernadette Blue Chip, selling on day 3 here in Lexington.
All right, everybody, we're going to wrap things up for day number 3. We are about 19 minutes away from the start of day 3 at the Lexington Select Sale. Let's talk a bit about the action on the track, Anthony, and what we want to be excited for over the next few weeks and the next few days, actually, as we look ahead to Saturday here at the Red Mile and an opportunity at another Grand Circuit Stake.
Yeah, we've been lucky. You know, Amy and I were just talking about it. The last 3 years, we've won at least one Grand Circuit Stake at Lexington. And I guess if you count the Standardbred at Delaware, we've won. That would be 6 over the last 3 years.
Nice.
Just in those two. I don't really follow the rest of it, but you know, very fortunate, very blessed, and
I'm
you
getting told to let you know to bring your mic closer and
Right
keep it in front
here?
of your mouth.
I'm used to having the one on my chest. I like that one. Why can't I use
For the
one on my
record,
chest?
behind the camera, they're letting us know that Anthony apparently talks like this.
Yeah, I'm like.
Mic's got to go with your mouth, apparently.
Talladega Nights.
Yeah. What do I do with my hands?
So yeah, I have just been so blessed with the horses we've had in that regard, and we could always have better. You know, I find myself some nights looking at our roster of horses, saying, you know, this one's kind of let us down. This one, but every stable has horses, right?
Yep.
And every stable, unless you're Ron Burke, you should win everything.
Everything.
But if you're just a run-of-the-mill normal guy or woman training horses in this game, that's the way it is. You know, we've been lucky. We do have 2 legit horses that will be good enough for the Breeders' Crown in I believe anyway, in Jailbird Jog and Perfect Thought. And Jailbird Jog races this week. I'm glad that my brother was the way it worked out. He was able to commit to the last 4 races of her. Now, I suspect had he driven her earlier in the year, he probably would have committed or tried to commit to her a little bit more. But you know, being at the top of the game, it's tough, right?
Yep.
You have commitments all over the place, and you're trying to do the best you can. And he drove her well the other day, and just being able to have, I would love nothing more than to have, you know, James and Mark driving our horses whenever they could. But James driving this filly is kind of special. I want to see him do well, not just this week, but then we have the Breeders' Crown coming up, and then, you know, a good friend of mine, Scotty Ziron's been driving Perfect Thought, and him and Megan are doing a great job with that filly, and it's nice to not only, you know, do well at times in the business, but do well with your friends and your family. And you know, this business can drain you sometimes, and it's so nice to have things like that to go through at this time of year. And just in racing in general, we've had a pretty good run. We had a really tough run in August. It was terrible. It seemed like forever. And, any horsemen or drivers or trainers out there will tell you, when you hit one of those big valleys, it seems like forever till the peaks come around.
Yep.
And but that's what makes the peaks feel so much better, is because once in a while you have to go through those valleys. And we had a tough spot in the summer, but bounced back. And some of the purchases we made and some of the horses we've campaigned have done really well. And we're not done yet.
Nope.
But Jailbird Jog and Perfect Sting are two horses definitely we're looking forward to for sure as we head into the fall.
What about when we get towards the winter? I know you were kind of mentioning the other day off camera, just you'll be looking to maybe kind of fill some gaps for the barn.
I've just felt I have not done a great job over the last 3 years getting some real quality winter racing horses. And myself, like everybody else, we just kind of rely on gate or prefer to feed us those horses. And I just think that's stupid from my standpoint. When I look at myself doing that, I think, listen, all the major stables that aren't in Florida are in the East Coast for the most part. I know who they are. I'm pretty friendly with almost every trainer. And just get on a plane. And rather than wait for somebody to put their horse on gate, simply walk into their barn and say, hey, we're looking to fill up some winter racing spots in our barn in Ohio and Pennsylvania and Ontario. Is there anything that maybe you guys are looking to move?
Right.
And that's something that I should have been doing, and it's something that I want to do this fall. We do have, we are predominantly a yearling barn that race 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, but obviously we have a number of race horses that we race and we do pretty well with. And I've just done a very poor job, I think, over the last 3 years, filling up those spots that were needed and wanted. And I'm going to do a better job this year doing it. So I think either before Harrisburg or around Harrisburg, maybe just get on a plane for a couple of days and go down to the East Coast, drive around, and see if we can't fill some of those roster spots.
What about the fact that when you mentioned the focus on yearlings and young horses, but you also have clients who just want racehorses that are going week in and week out? How do you try to balance both of those? Because I guess at the end of the day, everybody's got different wants and different needs.
It's funny, when we started this, Mark Weaver had always said to me, you got to have a racehorse, and he's right, but I didn't. It's tough, right, to wake up and know that you have to race against some of the best trainers all the time in an aged horse environment is tough. So we try our best to find our spots. We know where kind of our niches are, where we do well. I'm watching you. Where we do well, and things that have really benefited us.
Yeah.
So it's not even just buying racehorses. It's buying the right racehorses, the horses that make the most sense to us, that are filling the gaps that we need. And we do. We have a lot of clients that are on the lookout for racehorses predominantly. They'll buy the odd yearling here or there, or they'll buy a 2-year-old, or they'll buy a 3-year-old, but they are the racehorse people. And it got to a point where I may have promoted and advertised this as being a yearling barn, but we do racehorses.
Yeah.
And if people want to buy racehorses and we can find those racehorses to facilitate that, then by all means, what am I going to do? Pigeonhole myself and just say, no, we're not going to? That's just a little silly. So we do racehorses, and predominantly at Mohawk, Northfield, the Meadows, but we'll have a small string at Corbin also this fall, and we'll grow in the way that makes the most sense. And that's what we try to do, and that's what we'll continue to try to do moving forward.
What about for some of the young horses? We're talking about the ones that are kind of the stable stars right now, but for some that maybe were a little slow out of the gate, did we have a group of horses that we kind of shut down with, and maybe we're going to bring them back here later in the year?
Yep. So that's a great question. We try to evaluate and reevaluate our horses all throughout the spring into the summer. If they don't look like they're going to be stake competitive horses, we might race them in a maiden numbers a couple of times and shut them down. There are some of those horses where I just say, I just don't see a path forward for this horse full time for us, and we'll move those horses. So we probably sold 5 or 6 or 7 throughout the summer. We shut a bunch down that are now back and going. Some of those horses might be, I hope this horse comes back good when we turned it out and gave it time, or castrated it, or whatever, or took OCDs out or whatnot. And I'm watching those horses very closely because they're kind of maybe on a shorter leash, where we have some horses that did show some speed or some talent that just maybe had some soreness issues, or just maturity-wise, they just didn't put it all together. Those horses get a little wider berth. And then you have the horses, obviously, like a Jailbird Jog, you turn out. We just want to give them the most time, focus on the 2026 calendar, and then what that looks like as far as bringing them back in. So a number of fronts that we have to focus on as the fall comes along. But we have a number of horses coming back, and some that'll be sold and some that we'll we already are focusing on the 2026 calendar.
All right. Well, it's time to turn our focus now to day 3 as the session's going to get underway in about 10 minutes' time. We've got a few more videos to go, and we're going to pop back on, Curtis, and say goodbye after that? Okay.
Absolutely.
4 more videos here.
Number 516 on day 3, this is Guggenheim. Guggenheim is a Muscle Hill dual eligible colt, March 30th. This is a good pedigree right here. Home and dry, 7 iron is the half brother, Air Power. These are good horses here in this. It's actually a very good pedigree and a very good looking horse. Day 3, this is another one of these horses that should probably stand out a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. Here at Concord. A horse that honestly, even at day 3, will be very tough for us to acquire, but a horse that we'll be looking very closely at. Number 516, Guggenheim. As I said, March 30th, New Jersey, Kentucky eligible, Muscle Hill colt. Number 535, 7 Crumb Cakes. This horse was actually on my list from day 1. I like this horse a lot. This is Father Patrick, May the 8th. So actually a pretty big colt for May the 8th out of Kalachki. This is the Chapter 7, right? So Chapter 7 himself, obviously a tremendous sire and a tremendous animal, and branched off into a whole bunch of different families. This family, the Kalachki family, actually I know a little bit because a couple of our clients know the horses in this family. Samosa was a very good filly. Actually, the trainer of Samosa is here somewhere. Scott McEnany was here. How many foals here? We're just looking. 6 foals. There's 4 on the page, so not bad. This would be the 7th foal. I don't think they've got to. Let me get a Marseille. 1 went to Europe. Oh, there is a Father Patrick Irish Coffee. Mark of 53-4, made $122,000. If I'm not mistaken, Irish Coffee, Blake McIntosh had, and I might have drove that horse to the Meadows one day. Anyway, I'm not positive of that. But number 535, 7 Crumb Cakes. This is a filly, so that would be a sister to Irish Coffee. And, you know, I would say a typical build of a Father Patrick, but pretty big size for May the 8th. I actually like this horse on a day 3 for a day 3 trotter. The second dam obviously speaks for itself with Chapter 7 in it. So you have lots of power in the family, good looking filly, a decent, so for the breeders out there, when you be looking at, say, this horse on a catalog, this would be the first dam, the second dam would be the dam of this family, the Samosa family, and then you'd have Chapter 7 in the third dam. So again, certainly nothing wrong with this filly top to bottom, whether it be the breeding angle or the racing angle. This is a really, really good looking filly here on day number 3, 7 Crumb Cakes. Number 543, Internal Dialogue. This is a very interesting day 3 horse. It's an Akery D. Akery D out of America. How many foals has Living in the Fast Lane had? Is 6 foals, 4 winners. Easy Pass is one of them, but all the fireworks are in dam number 2. That is the dam of TCI. This horse is going to garner a lot of attention on day number 3, I believe. A beautiful, beautiful horse. It's an Akery D brown filly. April the 12th foal. And she has lots going on, both in the pedigree, great video, great makeup, great look. I really like this filly. Can you walk her down for me, sir? Yeah, pretty hard not to like this filly. Well, on day 3, late day 3, I believe, Frigg. This is day 3 still, right? I think it is. Frigg, this is a Captain Corey. Now, big family. This is Herodotus, Frank Lady. This is all Burke's family, actually. A lot of it is Burke's family. So Frigg, this is a a February 9th filly out of an SJ Caviar mare. The first foal is Herodotus. Now, we raced quite a bit with Herodotus over the course of 2 years as a 2- and 3-year-old. And Frank Leahy's racing this year. Geez, I know almost everybody on this page. This is a really, really good-looking filly. Liked her video. I like her herself. Got a couple little splints, not a big deal at all. Stands pretty correct for the most part, but if she has a couple of splints, there is a little conformational issue there. But nothing I'm too worried about, nothing that I can certainly see in the video or looking at her. And quite common, actually. So this is the Captain Corey, sister to Herodotus. Pennsylvania only, also. Not Kentucky and Pennsylvania, just Pennsylvania. Selling here on day number 3. This is a horse I can give you a number of reasons why I like this horse. And I don't have that many why I don't. So number 592, Frigg, is a horse we'll be looking at here as the sale winds down in Lexington, Kentucky.
All right, we're back on the desk here as we're going to put a bow on today's show, leading into day number 3 of the Lexington Select Sale. Anthony, you kind of alluded to what you're looking for today. Got your eye on some Bulldog Hanovers and Sweet Lou's, maybe to fill that need on the pacing side.
Yeah, and I think it's worth noting that I think either today or tomorrow, I think it's today, the full sister to Till the Cows Come Home sells also. So you got a cattle wash also selling in the sale.
Right.
The trotting filly. We're looking for a trotting filly, and then maybe another horse to clean up the bottom of the bucket, which may sound odd, but if I was to tell you that we could buy another one of those chimpanzee fillies for $25,000, that would be perfectly fine for me. So, again, it may sound off the cuff like, oh, well, it's just like the garbage pail.
Yep.
But that's not it at all. I think it's the best way for me to explain that would be, in my opinion, subjectively speaking, the most value I could find, and that was one of them right there. So another one of those horses, a trotting filly, and then a decent, really decent kind of pedigreed pacer, I think is what we're after. And we'll see if we can hook onto one of those. What we didn't talk about much is the Pebble Beaches.
Right.
I looked at a number of Pebble Beaches that look really, really nice. You know, he was such a small horse and lost in such a sea of good horses also. And he was almost the king of the hill for a number of those races.
He was a North America Cup and Breeders' Crown winner at 3.
So he was the king of the hill.
I was talking about this yesterday with Michael Carter on our other show. That I said,
you forget about this stuff, right? I didn't know that.
When I hear his name, I don't think one of those all timers.
Yep.
But the resume is as strong as many, right? And now he's stepping in, and if this first crop hits, like, who knows?
Well, I'll tell you what. Everybody thinks that because Pebble Beach was a small horse, that he can't be a stud. There's a lot of really, really nice looking horses here by this horse. And I mean, not that it's the same gate, but Chapter 7 was a midget and threw a bunch of midgets, and they all made money, and they were all great horses. So I know that everybody wants that big, giant, flashy animal.
But
the Pebble Beaches are above average of what I expected, knowing the stature of their fathers. But even I didn't remember winning the North American Cup, so I'm a little embarrassed to say I missed that too. But there's some really, really nice looking horses still here. And the reason that we gravitate towards those first crop sires, we had first crop Walners, we had first crop Tactical Landings, and it's because they wouldn't be affordable. If they hit on if they hit on year 1, I can't likely buy them on year 2.
True.
So we roll the dice. The same as the breeding. We bred 5 of our trotting mares to Captain Corey.
Yep.
And throughout the year, we were kind of gauging how our Captain Corys were training down to see how lucky or unlucky we might be. And although we're not going to sell them publicly, we have 5 Captain Corys that are homebreds coming in next year as yearlings. So pretty impressive time, pretty lucky, and pretty exciting time for us as far as homebreds are concerned.
All right, well, that's going to wrap things up here for our show today. Good luck with everything going on this afternoon, Anthony. I'm not sure yet if we'll be back tomorrow.
We'll see.
We'll play it by ear as well, though. Of course, you'll have your videos and everything popping on up, giving updates to everybody on YouTube.
If we fill up all our buckets today, I'm probably going to focus on being at the racetrack on Friday and not being at the sale. So, and by the racetrack, I mean Northfield, the Meadows. Maybe I don't think I can come back down here for Saturday to watch Jailbird jog, which sounds silly, but there's just so much stuff going on right now at the barn. I got to make sure that everything kind of stays tight together as we head into the latter part of stake season and the latter part of sale season also.
All right. Well, thanks again for doing this. It's a
Thank
lot
you.
of fun.
Really
Thanks for having us here.
Listen, I appreciate every year you come down, Jamie and Cam and Curtis.
people to take time out of your schedule. I know it's great to say all this, the weather's beautiful and the food is great, but you still have to come a long way away from home, and especially since I'm not paying you. I mean, it means a lot that you come down here every single year to do this. But it's a great time here in Kentucky, and honestly, for those of you that have not been here, honestly, you don't know what you're missing.
It is a blast. All right, that does it for us here today. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday afternoon, and we'll talk to you soon.
Own a little and love it a lot. TheStable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. TheStable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at TheStable.ca.